Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier Tv. I am Alligator Robb. I am joined by the two best co-hosts on the planet, Cindy and Bill. How are y'all doing? How's things going? What's new and exciting? How are you feeling today? What's happening? What's going on?
Are we the best? Are we the best?
We are the best co-hosts on this stage.
The best co-host anybody could ever dream to have.
We are
The
we
best.
are the best co-hosts on this stage.
I will scrap with anybody
I
who says
will
otherwise.
accept that.
There you go. There you go.
accept
Me too.
You guys are a mess.
So
what's new and exciting, y'all?
I don't know. This will shock nobody. I am super nervous.
Nervous?
My phone keeps alerting that I guess the end of times is coming right now with hail and
I
I guess
yeah.
95 is shut
Didn't
down.
that happen yesterday, too?
big storm.
Yeah.
No, there was one. I have some friends that are in Palm Bay that just sent me text messages of like giant pieces of ice, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I
Like, I
just
wanna
got
play.
an alert. I guess 95 shut down.
How cool
There's
is
so
that?
much hail.
How
Oh,
cool is
wow.
that? That's the jammiest
wow.
jam ever.
Wow.
I think that's exciting. I would
I
like
don't
to go
know.
outside and get hit in the head by one.
All I keep thinking is I just, for the first time in my adult life, bought my
I-
very first brand
I
new
know
car.
exactly what you're saying.
And there's
you don't
way
want-
too much stuff in my garage to try and
You
put.
should have
Yo.
pulled forward about 10 more feet underneath the.
Yeah, just
overhang
pulled
there.
under the overhang.
There's no kids here. You should have just pulled forward the rest of the way.
Yeah.
It'd have been
No,
good to
they
go.
wouldn't have said anything. Yeah, they would have said something.
All of my cars I've owned in the past, you couldn't.
Yeah.
They could go through a hailstorm, you wouldn't
Exactly. You know,
notice.
it's
It
just
might
another
knock
dent.
some of the dents
It's just
out.
another dent. You know, who
There you
cares?
go. We
Yeah,
had.
I know what you mean. I'm waiting on mine. I still got. They pushed the date back to May 15th.
Did you find out what color it is?
gracious.
It's the. I think
It
it's
is
the same color as yours.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is beautiful.
So
I
what are
love
you
that
driving
color.
for right now?
I'm driving my mom's car.
That's right. You told me that. Okay. I got you.
I'm driving my mom's car. I had to call her the other night and tell her they pushed back the delivery 2 weeks. So
And what'd she say?
in typical mom style, she said, "Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
You get it back to me when you get it back." Now she may be driving my dad nuts, because he's got to take her everywhere, or she drives his car and he's very particular about his car.
You have to tell him to drive her back here to pick it up at the school. That way we can stick her on the podcast
And then we can
again.
stick her on the podcast again.
Yeah, because I know she wants to do that very badly.
she does not want to do the podcast again. My mom did the podcast once.
She hit a home
She is
run
the
right off the
sweetest
bat.
person in the
Yeah.
entire world.
She hit for the cycle legitimately the first time up. So, I mean, why bother coming back again? I kind of get where she's coming from.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
She was in the Naval Reserves, and she retired a commander. And yeah.
Well, that's
yeah.
about awesome, actually.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. It's a crazy story.
No doubt about it.
But yeah, she let me use her car. Now her car is a Pontiac Grand Prix that's supercharged.
That sounds exciting.
Oh yeah, no.
That is
It's
not
fun to
what I
drive.
would have
Oh
guessed.
no, it looks mild mannered. That sucker will go.
It gets it, huh?
Oh yeah, you put it at higher RPMs and put your foot in it. And
You're melting the tires down everywhere you go, Bill?
Well, no, I'm not doing that. No, Mom, I'm not doing that. But it's kind of the standard car that when my kids come into town, we borrow my mom's car.
Yeah.
And so my son had it, and he had his two boys in the back, and he put his foot in it, and both of them looked at each other and went, "Whoa, what a car!"
That is hilarious. We had chapel we had sports chapel over at the at Maryland Christian today for the kids. I think I was telling you about this. So
Right.
it's basically an opportunity for the spring teams to go up there, and it's kind of the coach's job at that point to kind of make fun of the little kids a little bit. You don't really want to make fun of them, but kind of poke them a little bit, and then you say something nice about them. So there you go. That was exciting.
Kind of
yeah.
the compliment sandwich kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
There we go.
Little something to make them go, that's embarrassing, and then something to make them go, oh, that was nice, coach. Yeah, but
There you go.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. Other than that, this rain has woke every type of wildlife up in the world at the same time.
Okay.
Everything's woke up at once, and they're all walking, crawling, strolling,
Trying to figure out
frolicking.
a way to get out of here.
They're all frolicking. That's a word I've been using a lot.
Okay.
They have a cohorts of critters that are doing all the things at the same time. It
And
just seems appropriate.
What things are they doing?
Being critters.
Just being critters.
But
Okay.
being everywhere doing that instead of just in one little spot doing that. They're like,
Okay.
wee, there's rain, guys. It's the coolest thing ever. Let's go there and there. and
I
everywhere.
might spend some time inside,
Yeah.
Yeah.
avoiding
this?
cohorts of critters.
Dr. Doolittle over here. telling us about-
All right, you guys ready to chat with our guest
Yes,
today?
sir. Yes, sir.
I am.
Okay, so this has been an exciting one for a while. Cindy had no idea who our guest was today, which made me chuckle inside and very, very hard. So today we are joined by Rick Schreiber from the Infinite Mushroom in Titusville. How's it going, Rick?
Hey guys, what's going on? Hi, my niece. How are you?
Hi.
Rick, so I was just in your store randomly a couple months ago, and we were talking comics because I have a bunch of comics that I've just happened to come across that I've had for a long time in the family. And we were chatting about that, and I was like, man, we need to have you on this podcast and chat with you. You're a local business. You do a lot of things. You have all these different events you're doing all the time, different things to bring kids in and get them focused on stuff. And you have a store full of items. You've changed places a couple times since you've started going. So tell us a little bit about your journey to the point now where you have a store, how long you've had it, and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. But first, guys, thanks for having me on. This is so cool, man. I haven't done a podcast in a long time, and I'm really stoked to be back. It's just cool.
Oh, we're happy to have you here, buddy.
I love it. Wow. The journey starts when you're a kid, and you got a love for nerdom. I mean, it is. I was reading comic books when I was a kid. I was always an athlete, but my friends would come over. Hey, Ricky, let's go play football. I'm like, no, man, Star Trek's on. I got to watch Trek. So I kind of knew where I was heading in life at an early age. I just didn't know how, what, who, or where. And back around, I guess it was 2014. I had been, I've collected my whole life, although I stopped collecting and, over the years. You have kids and, Pampers cost more than comics, so you kind of go the plastic route there. But I was going to open up a surf shop, but with my back, I can't stand on a board anymore. My son quit surfing, so I'm like, well, that's not a good idea to do. So I just decided, you know what, I'm a nerd. I'm going to open up a comic book shop because we, at the time, did not have a comic book shop that sold new comics in town. Eric's Cards and Games, who was here forever, who I love to death, and I spent a ton of money in that shop, he wasn't selling new books. So that was my goal. And then all the game stuff just kind of fell into our lap because there's no other place in town that could hold events. And the next thing I know, I had like 2 little tables out for kids. I thought we're going to come play Pokemon or something. And I had 33 people show up for a Magic draft. And I'm going, I got 8 chairs. I have to go to Lowe's.
I need more space.
I'll be right back. So that's what started. And we moved to the mall. We were in the mall. My first shop was on 50. Right down on Hopkins, right down from Hopkins, I should say. There's a little strip center there that has like 5 little shops. So we were there, 700 square feet. That's where we started. Then we moved to the mall after about 7 months, right next to the movie theater. Okay. I love that shop. I mean, the mall let us move. I didn't want to leave the mall, but we had a lot of leaks. And about that time, Sears was going out of business, and Studio Plus shut down. Bill left Hallmark. He went back to work at the Cape. So it made a good time to move to downtown Titusville. We've been there. We've been open almost 9 years. We've been down there 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is an awesome shop.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's really neat. You were telling me a little bit about the different events and things you do. Tell me a little bit about it because I know you do several things during the week.
Right.
You tell me you do your own radio show kind of sort of too?
We do have a radio. I've been doing internet radio since the inception. I love it. I mean, it's just you can get on your soapbox, and for me, it's just plain rock and roll. That's my soapbox. So I get out there and just, me and your dad. Yeah. I remember many years sitting in your living room on Christmas Eve, partaking in beverage and blaring. I don't know how you and your sister went to sleep. We were blaring Kiss so loud. And putting together your dollhouses. I mean, it was a lot of fun. But no, right now what we're doing, we have Magic the Gathering is our biggest event. We have 2 Commander nights and we draft on Saturday nights. And then Dungeons and Dragons, we were doing that for the longest time. But COVID has changed us. I mean, a lot of my older players have not come back to play. Yeah. And we finally also have the upstairs ready to go now. So we have 2 floors. We had the bottom floor, which is the retail, and then our gaming is upstairs. And we've moved most of the events up there, but we do leave tables downstairs because not everybody can get up the stairs. They're not easy. I don't even go up there that much. I'm 35. It's just kind of hard to do that right now. But we brought Warhammer in. We're bringing more miniature games in, and I really do want to get Dungeons and Dragons going again. But it's just a matter of getting the folks in the seats.
So you said Magic, the Magic the Gathering, right, is like your biggest draw. Yeah, that's what most people come in there to buy those cards and do those kind of things.
Oh yes.
So I remember seeing that years ago. It's a card game. You have creatures that can do different things based on lands and waters and
your energy is called mana. And mana is based on you got forests, you have swamps, you have mountains, plains. and I know and islands. So it's a 5-color system, and each card costs a certain amount of color to get it out, so you can put it on the field. It's kind of like Pokemon. I mean, Pokemon, you have energy cards, and so in Pokemon you have energy cards. Magic, you have energy cards, but they're called, but they're lands. They're basic lands, as we call them.
Okay. So from the beginning of this journey of the comic book store you had to where you are now, what are the major things you've learned going through there as a business owner? What are the things that made you kind of go, okay, these are things that are changing or going on that I have to kind of adapt to as it's happening? Right. What are your biggest lessons you've learned?
Building communities. You want. It's just not about the business side of it. You got to build the relationships with the folks, just like what you guys do here. You do the same thing in business. You build relationships. You get to know people. They become your biggest advocate. You know, getting folks into the store. It's not easy, especially with what you have to compete against. You know, online has changed everything. I've been in retail my whole life, and I have never seen the changes that I have seen just since we've been open.
Yeah. During COVID, a lot of people switched to online D&D, and I think they haven't stepped away from it.
No, and there's a plethora, and I can't blame them. There's a plethora of information out there. I mean, you have it's not like the '80s when Yahoo wasn't even thought of. You get on there and AI, you type in D and it's going to populate it for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it already knows what you want to look for.
You can log in and play with a campaign that's all over the country, all over the world. It makes it so much easier for scheduling. I hate it. I could not get into online D&D. During COVID, we just stopped playing.
Right.
The first thing we did was get our campaign going again when we could be in person again. But some people love it. Yeah. Because it is hard to do a D&D campaign and coordinate the schedules of 5 or 6 adults. Like right now, we're lucky if we're playing once a month because everyone's schedules are just so different.
Oh, it's insane. Now, also too, I will say technology has been a beautiful thing. I mean, you've got the guys that I started playing D&D with in the late 70s, early 80s. I mean, they're still my best friends in the world, right? So some of us have moved, we've lost a couple. So what's going on right now? And I don't get to game a whole lot. Well, I run a shop. I want to go home, spend time with my wife. So there's not a whole lot of time in my calendar to play Dungeons and Dragons anymore. But my guys are still playing, and they do a couple or I guess it's Zoom or Skype, whatever they're using right now. But they do not gather in the house anymore. And that's the sad thing about it, because D&D is meant to be played around the table with your friends.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that people are playing online. Don't get me wrong. But at its core, at its heart, D&D, watch Stranger Things. That is D&D, and that's the way it should be played, around the kitchen table. And the DM should be your biggest advocate, not your biggest obstacle. I will say that personally.
So now that it's so funny that you mentioned Stranger Things and D&D, because it's made it so much more acceptable and popular for a lot of people to play. And I know people that have played for decades, a lot of them are really mad about that. I love it, because now before, like, I'd go to, trainings for work, these big conferences with huge people from huge corporations and huge nonprofits. And, people would talk about what they do for fun, and it was so different than what I do for fun. Now I actually hear people at these conferences say, I play D&D. And I'm like, yes, yell that. Yell that.
Roll a D20 right now. Save versus embarrassment. I don't know.
Roll for initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played it. I've heard people talk about it, but I've never played it.
I have never played it either. But my children, my oldest daughter, they play every week. Her and her friends play every week. And it's a great thing for her. I mean, it's kept their group of friends who they've been with since high school. And that was, over 10 years ago. And they're all still together, and they're all still playing. And
very cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
It's such a fun game, because there's so much you can strategize. There's so much you can control about the world, and it's so fun to annoy the DM and wreck their plans. That's my favorite thing to do.
What is the DM?
The Dungeon Master.
Dungeon Master.
Dungeon Master.
Yes. See, I know a little of the terminology.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, I've never even heard about it. I mean, I've heard about it, but I don't know. I've never heard that term.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Well, yeah, because what you do, it's my understanding, you tell me if I'm wrong, but the Dungeon Master draws out the campaign.
What does that mean?
Designs the campaign. The campaign, it's the quest. It's what you're going to be doing.
So it's
as a group.
Is it a board game?
Well, not really.
No,
not really. No,
but it's played around a table.
Yes.
Right.
And you can incorporate boards.
So
Like,
is
we
it
have,
like Magic where you have cards? Is that what you?
No. Basically, someone's writing a book. You're writing a book for the person that's running the game.
Writing a book.
Yeah, you're adventuring. You're going on these adventures. You're saving cities. You're saving towns. Saving the maiden. You're killing the dragon. You're slaying the orcs. And he or she is putting you in a position to do all of that. And the way you react or don't react builds. It's just like it's called role playing. You take on a role of someone who could have existed but did not, and is in this world going to save it.
Each person that's playing has their own character that they've created, and there are different types of characters and different types of like races and classes that you can be that all have their own stats.
So what's the eventual goal? How do you win?
Total domination. You never win.
You
Well,
don't
it's
win.
not really
You
win.
try to
You
stay
kinda
alive.
complete the quest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
You
can
know.
be.
And then once you complete that quest, the dungeon
always-
master draws up a new one.
I say if the quest is always going.
Mm-hmm.
So your same character that you played with early on is the same character you're playing with now?
Depends.
It can be.
Yeah,
If you live.
Yeah, my first character I still have, Jackson McCormell. He's a ranger. Yeah, I mean he's in he actually his armor looked like Gene Simmons back in 1976 from Kiss. That big armor and stuff that he had. I kid you not, that was his armor. He even had the dragon boots, and they were magical boots. Yeah, I know.
He's a ranger, you said?
He was a ranger. Yeah, in that kind of armor. Really? Yeah, but he was.
What
Oh,
what
wow.
race?
He's human. Yeah, just good old fashioned human. Yeah.
Wait, so you like drew a picture of him?
I did not, but a buddy of mine, Todd Rollins, did, and he is one of the best artists you'll ever find. And this is back when I was in high school, guys. All right, we're going back a few years.
No.
A few years.
My 40th reunion is coming up in September, so
Yikes.
I'm just,
Okay, that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's scary. But no, the picture he drew was exquisite. It could hang in a museum somewhere. In high school, this kid was that good.
So you're collecting pieces and parts of your person as you're going along. You're collecting armor and like gauntlets and stuff.
Yeah. You're building your character. You're on an adventure of life. In other words, this could be a D&D campaign right here. We're sitting at a podcast. You roll to see if you screw it up. That kind of thing.
You're rolling to see if you can screw it up.
I rolled
There
in
you
that
go.
one.
Oh, so you're rolling to decide what the next thing you say will be?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
You roll to see if your attack hits, or you roll to see if you found a trap, or you roll to see if you found treasure.
Okay.
I'm a
Interesting.
caster, so I roll to see like if my
A
spells.
caster?
Yeah, I do magic, so I cast spells.
Okay. And do you name your person, or they just have a name for you?
You name your person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a
My
person.
my current one. Well, mine's an elf. Mine's
Okay.
an elf druid.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to digest this whole thing as we're going through it.
It's a lot to process.
It is.
Well,
It is. I think I'm grabbing the concept.
I tell you what, I got more of an understanding. I knew that Colleen played, and I think Lee did too. But watching The Big Bang Theory, they play in The Big Bang Theory,
Okay.
and that's where I got a little bit on. I've never played, so I watched them, in their situations that
then it
seems-
started making more sense to you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I understand that.
Interesting. So I understand you're an avid sports fan too.
I am an avid sports fan. Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that. What are your teams?
Okay. Well, when it comes to football, go Gators, and I am a diehard Fins fan.
Okay.
Miami Dolphins.
I'm sorry, but okay.
Actually, I'm quite excited.
There's some interesting things going on with the Dolphins right now.
There
for
are.
Sure. Yeah.
And also, oddly enough, I'm a huge NASCAR fan. I love auto racing, and I've been following NASCAR since about 1970. So,
NASCAR's in Chicago this year.
are you
They're
going?
doing a street race in
Yes.
Chicago.
Oh,
I was
wow.
invited to go, but the tickets are like $800 a piece. It's ridiculous. So I can't. There's no way I can afford
It's
that. Yeah.
insane.
That's ridiculous.
You could spend some of your podcast money.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's not how that works. But no, yeah, I think the cheapest ticket they had was maybe $500, which was general admission.
Oh my lord.
And yeah,
That's
I have
crazy
friends
to
up
me.
there that work for the parks department. They're like, yeah, Frank, get a ticket, and we'll take you somewhere cool to watch it. And I'm like, man, like I'm expecting a general admission ticket to be $50 or something. I'm like, you know what? Sure, I'll look into it. And I went, no, it's not going to work.
No, I don't blame
Yeah,
you.
it's
So
not
do they
gonna
just shut down
It's
streets?
it's through downtown Chicago.
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I think it's maybe the first time NASCAR's done this.
Yeah, it's the first Grand Prix they've ever done. This is so NASCAR also races on more track types than any other racing circuit out there, which is
Right.
really cool. Super speedway, dirt tracks, mile and a half, short tracks, F1 tracks, road tracks, and now
See, I was
Grand Prix.
always a fan of Watkins Glen and Sears Point.
Oh yeah, Watkins Glen is my favorite.
Yeah,
track.
Watkins
Yeah.
is still on there, but
Yeah.
Sears Point is gone now.
Right, Sears Point is gone.
Yeah.
They're racing someplace. I forget what it is in California. But yeah, they have 6 road races this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Do they
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I know they signed a 3-year contract, I think, with Chicago to do it there.
it's gonna. I can't wait to watch it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be an epic race.
That should be crazy. I hope everything in Chicago gets a little bit more relaxed between now and then.
Yeah.
That's all I can hope, because they're having some rough times up there right this minute. Oh Lord. Yeah. So baseball. Who's your baseball team?
I'm a Yankee fan. I had a cousin play for him back in the 30s. He was Ted Williams' roommate.
Okay.
Yeah, his name was Paul Schreiber. He pitched a couple years with him, but he was a lefty, and he blew his shoulder out during a preseason or spring training game. And then he ended up coaching for the Yankees and Boston, third base coach.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool, yeah.
I'm a little bit of a Cubs fan
I
myself.
love the Cubs.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, that's their storied franchise. You gotta love
When
it.
we were kids, WGN was on TV down here,
Right.
so that was what we all, that's what I grew
yeah.
up watching.
Harry Carey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I grew up
Harry Carey,
watching.
that's true, yeah.
But yeah, Frank Schwindel, actually, I think I told you this the other day, he's actually playing in Japan now.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he went
I saw that.
from the Dominican Republic. So he played for the Cubs. We had him on here.
Right.
When he was a first baseman for the Cubs, and then he went to Dominican Republic and played for a year, and kind of got his health back right because he had tweaked his back, and now he's playing for the same team that Okami, one of the biggest guys in baseball right now, who plays for the Angels, I believe. He's a pitcher
Okay.
and a left fielder. He does both like at top-notch level.
Oh,
Frank's
wow.
playing for the team he played for
Okay.
over in Japan, so that's pretty unique. But
Very nice.
yeah, sports. Sports. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
I have nothing to contribute.
Cindy is a hidden sports fan. She doesn't like to admit it, but when we're
Yes.
not on the air, all she talks about nonstop is sports. She gets really deeply into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and questions some calls they make sometimes. When
I am very critical.
Very critical,
That
yes.
checks
when
out.
when they got rid of Bruce Allen, right after John Gruden left, she was very
Right, he
critical
was
of that whole
my
thing.
my
She's like,
favorite,
why?
yeah.
Why Bruce Allen had made some good calls? Yes, she's like, I agree. He,
He
was
was
rough
really
in free
good
agency.
at throwing that and or catching that ball.
Yes, the general manager
Good
was
cover.
very good at that.
Good
Cindy.
cover.
Yes.
Good cover. Yeah.
Yes, the general manager was
Yes.
very, very good at that at the
No,
time.
Yes.
Oh, my garage. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. So do you guys have any events coming up?
Yeah, actually we do. So first of all, free comic book day. That's a big day. It's one of our biggest days.
Free comic book
Free
day.
comic book day.
Like
Yeah,
free?
Free. Actually, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, so it's a bit a national holiday, so to speak, for us for probably over 20 years, if I'm not mistaken. But we order certain books from the publishers. There's something they want to promote that's coming out, or they're, who knows what they're doing. But we buy them for a very big discount, and then it says free comic book day on them, and we put them out, and you're able to come in and grab some.
How freaking cool is that? When is this?
It is the first Saturday in May, so it's going to be May 6th.
Oh, wow.
It's coming
okay.
up quick.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
coming up. Yeah, and we will be open at 10 o'clock. We normally open at 11, but I'll be opening at 10 that in the morning.
All right. What we'll do then is we'll put this one on next Wednesday, so that's aired in time to have that up there.
Oh,
Okay.
thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
What's your
Okay.
favorite comic book?
Right now, it's a hard one to say because there's the industry has changed. It's just not a handful of titles on either side, DC or Marvel. Now you've got a book that in fact, I'm doing my order right now. It's about this thick. It's called Previews. And then DC has their own book that's not in that book, and Marvel has their own book that's not in that book. So you're looking, I believe coming out in June, Marvel is releasing 10 new titles, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
It's insane.
Is that 10 whole new characters or 10 just new storylines?
New storylines.
Okay.
There's reboots of Black Panther is coming out. I think there's the Incredible Hulk is rebooting, so that's going to be kind of cool to see what's going on with that. But I like a lot of independent stuff. So over the years, my tastes have changed. I used to be an avid X-Men reader. I love the X-Men. Big Ghost Rider fan. He's probably my favorite out of all of them, Ghost Rider. But over the years, I still do love Batman. But over the years, I've gotten into horror, science fiction, thrillers, that kind of thing. And honestly, Image is doing a phenomenal job right now with their IPs. It's a creator-owned universe. They put out Spawn, Youngblood back in the 90s. Spawn was the big one that came out. And all the creators, all the young creators left Marvel and went and started this. So that's when Todd McFarlane left, Jim Lee left. Rob Liefeld, all these guys left and started this, and it's still been, it's still going strong, and they are just putting out some really solid content.
Very interesting. So I've been, I was telling you this. I've been going
Right.
through old comics and looking at things. I had no idea how many different variations of each comic there were. Let's say, for instance, Conan the Barbarian. There was King Conan. There was this kind of Conan, that kind of Conan, this kind of Conan. When you're going through and you're looking at these things from your perspective and you're deciding which ones are worthy of having in your shop and not, how do you decipher all that and work your way through it?
Well, first, just they're all worthy. Any comic book, man, it's meant to be read. It touches my heart. I mean, when you see somebody who actually got published, even from independent, you want to see their stuff out there and read. But every title, I use a couple different price guides, and every title is presented in those price guides under that title. Like you were saying, you have Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, the Savage Sword of Conan, King Conan.
I swear there's 10 different ones.
Yeah, there are. It feels like there is. Yeah. But each one of those books has their own price guide, and every issue has a attached perceived value. Now, the main thing that we look for when you're looking at books is that perceived value. What is in that book for that value? Like Conan, the first appearance of Red Sonja, first appearance of Elric is in Conan. So you're looking for all these first appearances, and it never fails, though. You're going through a collection, and you're like, okay, I'm looking for Conan 27. So you get to 20, 21, 3, 24, 25, 26, 28, 29. So, people cherry pick. They know what's out there. I mean, especially, again, going back to COVID, everybody became an expert. So everybody's cherry picking all of these different titles, looking for the keys and not worrying about the rest.
Very interesting.
It is. But the great thing is the rest are fantastic reads for the most part. They're always going to be good stories. I shouldn't say they're always going to be good stories, but you've got a good chance of reading a good story as you're going through these.
Okay, so 2 questions.
Yeah.
How often, so you're a fan of the comic books.
Mm-hmm.
How often do you go watch these new movies or see these new movies and go, these idiots didn't follow anything the way it was going? Or they missed this guy having this type of thing going on, or this guy having this type of thing going on. Like, this wasn't how this worked. What are they, like, did they just totally miss it altogether? Or do you look at those as 2 separate entities?
At first, I don't, and you bring up a good point here, man. I don't go to the movies anymore to watch those movies.
Yeah.
I'm over inundated.
I hear that from a lot of people who are dedicated to the books.
The MCU is too much for me. Disney, they're doing a great job with it, but I'm just not wanting to watch it. I will say I do enjoy their Star Wars content, and I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. Don't get me wrong when I say this. I'm a Star Trek guy, but I do like Star Wars. Your dad and I, Tim, I'm sorry, we used to play Star Wars back in middle school. His bedroom upstairs, the little wing. That was the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
There you go.
I would give anything to see video or photographic evidence of these times.
Oh, I would too.
Anything.
The only thing that I have from that time is when we did the Kiss concert, the air guitar concert.
I have seen those pictures.
I have them, and they exist, and they are true, and I will not put those anywhere online.
My grandma had copies. I will put them online.
Oh, no. Nina, no. I miss your grandmother. Your grandmother was...
I miss my grandma,
too. She was an incredible woman. But back to the movie stuff. I don't go there anymore. It used to be... I remember when the first X-Men movie came out. It was special, man. It was like funny. And Patrick Stewart is, it's Professor X. Captain Picard, Professor. This is going to be awesome. It was special. The movie was horrible, but it was special. But now it's like, okay, next, now we're on, what is it? The movies.
There's been so many of them.
Yeah, there's so many of them. There's all these different types of different, parts of the Marvel universe now. We're on part 4. I don't care. I really don't. I'm happy that they're making movies. I'm happy that they're keeping the names in pop culture. But from my shop, I don't get a bump in sales when these things come out. Yeah. The people... Well, then send them my way, God. I mean, seriously.
That thunder just made me jump.
It did me too. Yeah, but seriously, I don't get a big bump because the people that go to the movies don't read the comics.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a big separation.
It's an interesting topic to see how fandoms respond to a lot of these new movies.
Though
because
there's always an opinion.
So much upheaval in the D&D community over the new D&D movie. I thought it was great. I loved it. I don't understand why everyone was so mad, but I do get it because some people play very strictly by the rules as they're written. And the movie strayed from that. And even when I was in the movie, I could hear people going, the druid can't turn into an owl bear. And I was like, come on, guys. And you know what? Our campaign stretches a lot of the rules. Our DM is very generous with us. I'm sure he feels like a preschool teacher trying to herd cats, but it's always interesting to see how the response is from the different fandoms and the different communities.
Interesting. Yeah, things you just don't think about, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we all have that love of something.
Yep.
You know, and you don't want to see it misrepresented in any way, shape, or form. And when it does, some people do get upset about it. I mean, it's Hollywood. For me, I take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You know, it's Hollywood. What they want to do, they want to put out a good product, but they want to know how many billions this movie is going to make with release and merchandising. That's all it's about for them right now, you know, in my opinion. So
when you say it that way, I understand.
Yeah.
Alligators and TV programs.
Okay,
I don't necessarily care for you guys in your reality TV shows with alligators because it's reality TV and it means nothing. So
absolutely.
I said it. It is what it is. Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I talk like I don't get it, but I do get it because I'm a very avid reader, and I am the person that will sit in the movie theater when my favorite book is turned into a movie going, that's not right. That's not right. That's not how the story goes.
Going to a movie with my daughter. That's not the way it was.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, I gave you some homework. You want
Yes,
to jump
you did.
into it?
Okay, hold on.
Let's jump into some homework.
And
so how often do you get questions? How often do the kids randomly walk into your store and go, hey, so Mr. Rick, who's the most powerful superhero of all the superheroes and why? If this person battled that person, what would happen?
That happens, you know, that's a daily conversation in our store. And it's not kids.
Is it adults?
No, it's adults coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
What's the weirdest one they've dropped you? What's the weirdest combination of who would beat who that you've heard dropped?
Maybe it had to be a Doctor Who reference. I think it has something to do, because I love Doctor Who, although I haven't seen the last couple seasons of it. I grew up watching Doctor Who on PBS, and the Daleks with a plunger on it's just spray painted silver. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you that. I know a lot of it has to do with time travel. If you went back in time travel, and I hate time travel.
Oh, I always love the sports people, like the 1947 Yankees versus, you know, whatever.
Right.
It's like, okay, and then fight about it for hours.
Yes, and they would get spanked right now because the athletes are bigger, stronger, and faster. You know.
Yeah.
So my son and I were talking about this last night.
But they're pure hitters, sir.
Now hit 105-mile fastball when it was like to be 80 back in those days.
It's a pure swing, and they don't have to have anything with any preservatives they're eating. Yes.
There you go.
I've heard those discussions, and you're just gonna sit back and go,
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
No,
they're
you get them. They get into those.
But they're fun to listen to, though.
They are.
I love
They are.
this.
My
Yeah.
favorite part, though, is like there'll be a radio show on where they're talking about this the same time that there's an actual sporting event going on.
Right.
And people are choosing to participate in this conversation
No
rather
doubt.
than watch the actual sporting event.
No doubt, you're 100% right.
And this is why they put a pitch clock on baseball.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep, games. I mean, it has changed the game this year in a very positive way.
I
it
agree.
has.
And I think
Yeah.
it was a smart idea to do.
Yep.
If you're there in person, you don't necessarily care if there's a pitch clock on it or not. But if you're watching it on TV, you want there to be a flipping pitch clock on it. You want it to go faster.
Yeah.
If you're there in person, you don't necessarily worry about it as much because you've already committed your afternoon or your morning to that. But yeah, if you're there watching on TV, I don't want you taking 2 minutes before you swing the bat every single time.
Yeah.
Your gloves are fine. Hit the ball.
Don't take 5
Yeah.
minutes to throw one pitch.
Yeah, you're exactly
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah. Your gloves are fine, batter. Put your gloves on. Leave them on. Stop fixing them. You ain't got to pick your pants up. Your pants are all right. You know what? The little bit of clay that's on your shoes, you don't need to try to knock that off 15 times with a baseball bat. Stand up, throw the ball. Throw the ball,
Get
hit
it
the ball,
together.
move on. Yes.
Okay, well, are we going to let
Yes,
him
sir.
ask
I'm
some
sorry.
questions?
You got into that, and I'm like, that makes
Yep.
a lot of
Did you
it
go
does.
with a theme?
Not really. I didn't.
Is it
wanna
all over the place?
It kind of is.
Good,
In a
that's-
way, I just wanted. So I was given homework to bring in 5. That is 5 trivia questions. So here we go with question number.
we would call
1.
that potpourri or
Yes.
just kind of a mixed group of
I was
whatever.
on fire last week, so
You
I
were?
set the bar way too
Well,
high.
actually, I
and
wanna
I'm
say
afraid
we-
I can't live up to it.
When it came to the one we aired this week, which was Hello Again
Oh,
Books,
that's
we all butchered the daylights out
That's
of it.
right.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible.
Oh, and
That was-
Man, she dropped some questions, and I'm like,
I knew
had to go
nothing.
look them up.
0. I know
Yeah,
nothing.
so we'll see.
And I love that stork too, by the way. I'm glad you guys had that on.
Yeah, that one's aired today, actually.
Very cool. Yeah, Brenda spent a lot of money in there. Alrighty, guys. Question number 1. Who invented the word nerd?
Ooh.
Like what group of people, or from what country?
No,
or
just what individual?
It was a person.
It
'Cause
was
it-
a person.
Because nerd stands for something, right? Like it's an acronym.
No,
Is nerd an acronym?
No, it's
No,
not.
I don't think so.
No.
I want to say it was someone
Oh.
from the Star Trek world.
I'm going to say that it was Arthur Fonzarelli.
That's a
That's
solid
a good
guess.
answer. That's a solid
That's
answer.
a solid guess.
But we need a buzzer. No.
Cindy,
I know nothing. I have no idea.
who's the guy that played the part of Captain Kirk?
William Shatner.
Yeah, I'm gonna say William Shatner.
Nope. 2 Star Trek guesses. Oh man, I like this. All right. No, it was created by Dr. Seuss.
What?
Ooh.
Yes, meant comically as an unpleasant creature in a book called If I Ran to the Zoo in 1950.
Wow.
I'll identify as an unpleasant creature. That's fine.
Yes. I saw that. I'm like, well, that's an interesting little
It checks.
tidbit of
That's
stuff.
applicable.
It
You could argue my beard's an unpleasant creature,
Indeed.
or might have an unpleasant creature in it.
That I would
Yeah.
believe.
Or your
also.
hair or something.
Something like that, right? All right, number 2. Going back to comic books and Kiss. What comic book was the rock and roll band's Kiss first appearance in?
What comic book?
I know they were in the episode of Scooby-Doo. But I don't know about comic book.
Comic books. Wasn't there a Scooby-Doo comic book?
Oh, there was, yes. There
Yeah,
was.
I'm sure there
Still
was.
is.
There you go.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's still running on, yeah.
Ruh-roh.
I know,
I'm
it was
sorry.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Cindy.
I am striking out this week.
Let's see. Comic. Let me make a random guess. It wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been. I don't think it'd be anything DC. So that throws a lot of stuff out of there. I don't know. I'm gonna throw a random one out there, even though I just said that. I'm gonna throw Spider-Man.
No, it was actually Howard the Duck number 13.
Okay, I did not see
What?
that coming.
Oh,
Back in
Did not see that coming.
What?
1977, yep, it came out.
I need
Which
to know
is-
how that incorporated Kiss.
Well, it was some kind of psychic dream they were having, and the demon showed up. Ace, the space, the space ace they called him. The Kiss, so Kiss comes into this kind of they kind of got channeled in from another dimension.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know why they just didn't put him on concert, and he wanted to go see Kiss in concert. It would have been the easiest way to do that, but
77. Is that considered the Bronze Age of comics?
no,
The
no,
Bronze
77.
No, I think it honestly is. Does
No,
mean
it
something
is.
like
It,
that.
it
yeah.
is bronze. Silver went from 58 to 70. So yeah, that was bronze.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was
I know
bronze.
something. It's not a question
Wow.
you asked, but I know something.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
bronze.
Okay.
Okay, now actually I got this one from your Facebook page.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Well, I saw you were at Earth Day this weekend
Yes,
over
sir.
at the Enchanted Forest.
Indeed.
Love the Enchanted Forest.
It's a great place.
It is a hidden gem here in Titusville. What is the official start date of Earth Day? I'll take just the year.
It'd have been in the 60s sometimes. It'd have been in the 60s sometime. I'm going to guess 68.
I'm going to say 65.
I was born in '65. It's a
I
good
know.
year.
I know. That's why I'm saying that.
That's a
date.
good year. But you're wrong.
Cindy? I'm willing to bet it's in the 60s. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it makes sense that it would be the 60s. For some reason, I thought it was 74. But it makes sense that it would be in the 60s.
Well, as my mom would say, according to the Google,
The Google.
the official start of Earth Day was April 22nd, 1970.
Okay.
Ah, see, you
We were
right.
all
The
around
70s.
it. We were all around it.
We were all around it.
Yeah.
Now, all right, guys, you're going to redeem yourselves with this question.
Here we go.
Are
I
we?
want you to think about this.
Are you sure?
He said.
The Bronze
You
Age.
pretty much guaranteed it. So.
Well, here's the thing.
It's the Bronze Age.
I am giving you guys multiple choice here. Okay.
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 All right.
fair
Okay,
enough.
there
First
we go.
multiple choice.
Wait, can we
That'll
all
help.
guess
It's
different
not
letters?
quite true false.
No.
But
Can we
I'll
all
take
guess
it.
different?
That's
do
a
we
good.
Need, we need to combine ideas here, guys, and
What's
give
that?
him one letter instead of all guessing different letters. Or
If you
numbers.
say so.
Okay, we got to come together and figure this out.
Okay.
All right, here
so
we
we could
go.
all be wrong.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So, what horror film caused some theaters to suggest that patrons prone to motion sickness sit in aisle seats? Was it A, Blair Witch Project, B, Vertigo, C, Mimic, or D, Cloverfield?
I'd say it's A or D, but I'd say if it being the first one of that series, I'd say it's the Blair Witch Project because remember that was the one that they were running through the woods and it was all over the place.
Right, that was all over the place. But Vertigo was Alfred Hitchcock, and it was before that.
Yeah.
So if you want to say the first movie,
That
that's
would-
the oldest of the movies.
And what was going on in Vertigo? People were dizzy.
Yeah, people were dizzy, and they had some kind of spinning thing going.
That kind of makes sense. I'm willing to jump on that
I
bandwagon.
I know the Mel Brooks version of Vertigo. That's all. I've never seen the movie, so I just know what Mel Brooks did.
I'm willing to jump on that. Cindy, what do you think?
Yes.
It's either that or Blair Witch, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with
yeah.
what your suggestion and say it was the first one. I
Let's
think it
try
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah, because
Okay.
people weren't used to it at that
Right.
time.
B, your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay, you're wrong.
See,
Blair Witch Project.
it was Blair Witch. yeah.
Really?
It happened in Toronto.
I remember it messed with a lot of people's brains.
It
'cause
did.
It was
It
jumping. There's so much.
It was
around
very
the world.
much point of view from the camera, and they
It was
were
one of the first
moving.
ones like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and UCF
Yeah,
had a lot to do with that.
they did.
film.
I think they were all UCF students.
They
if I'm
were
not
all
mistaken. Yeah.
UCF film students,
Yeah.
and and it was basically a student film, and it did very
It
well.
made millions.
Yep.
It was incredible. But I tell you, the one that got me though was Cloverfield. That because
Yeah.
Blair Witch was not a full 16:9
Right.
aspect. It was more square, I believe.
It was.
And then when Cloverfield came out, it was huge. And man, I'm telling you, I'm like going, "Yeah, okay, all right,
This is rough.
yeah. I'm glad I didn't drink before I came in.
It was, but even it was a little bit of a pulled back version of Blair Witch.
Yeah,
It wasn't quite as bad. There was still a lot of running around and all over the place and looking
Right.
at people and things happening behind them and turning around stuff. But I still don't think it was wrecked your brain as much as Blair Witch wrecked your brain.
right,
Yeah.
right.
That was
Yeah.
that was a rough one to follow. Like steady camera. Why couldn't you have existed about 20 years beforehand?
Well, but see, the whole premise of the thing was that they found they
Right.
were gone, and all they found were these tapes.
Right.
And
Wasn't
so-
that whole movie made for like $30,000 or some
was-
crazy small
I think it was
amount?
less than that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not very much. At
And then
all.
it grossed millions
Yes.
and millions.
Yeah, because they were showing it at film festivals, and then it got picked up by a distributor,
Mhm.
and yeah,
That's
and they
really
made
neat.
money.
Yeah, I saw it here in Searstown, and it was like, and also too, they had a lot of promotional thing going on with it. The Sci-Fi Channel had a plethora of promotional shorts going on. I mean, 30-minute stories about this thing, and they jumped on the bandwagon, and it drove people. I mean, I remember going to Sunday matinee, and it was sold out.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah, definitely kind of crazy.
Interesting one.
All right, so we're going down to our last one, guys.
All right.
Now, this one, I just after reading it, I'm like, so and I'll tell you why after you guys answer. But this is, and I will give you a hint. This is the original Star Trek we're talking about.
Oh,
Okay?
I got
Okay.
you.
All right. So,
I'm in this one.
All right. Which Star Trek regular is only referred to by their last name throughout the original TV run?
The original TV run.
Their last name on the show?
Yeah. Well, their character's last name only.
Well, isn't that Dr. Spock?
Yeah, it would be Doc. No, well, it would
No,
be.
no, no.
It'd be the Doc on the show. I would say
No,
no, no,
McCoy.
it's
No, they talked about Leonard.
the engineer.
you know. Scotty. No, because they say Montgomery Scott.
Mm-hmm.
But it could be. It's either Sulu or Chekhov. I would think.
Oh, it would be Chekhov then.
Well, I don't.
Which he
no,
was an
no,
engineer,
no,
wasn't
because
he?
they
What was he-
his
what was
his
he?
first name was.
Wasn't he an engineer?
He was a helmsman, I think.
helmsman.
He was either on helmsman or weapons, and his first name was Anton.
I never remember hearing his first name
I
ever.
think it was Anton.
Well, Anton's the actor that
Right,
that
that play-
died.
okay.
Yeah.
I never
Okay.
remember hearing his first name ever.
Okay, well maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
Cindy?
Because Sulu, I think we heard Sulu's first name somewhere in there.
Did we?
I think so. Yeah.
Remember what it was? I don't.
No, it was Japanese, but I don't know what
It was
was.
Hikaru.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Oh, okay. Maybe that does sound familiar.
Yeah.
I never heard the other guy's first name.
Yeah, Chekhov.
I
Never
would
did.
have not a clue. Cindy, what do you think?
I have no idea.
Are you agreeing or disagreeing?
I'll agree. Yes. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
I think we broke this down pretty well.
You did. So who are we saying?
Chekhov.
Pavel?
Pavel. God bless. Oh.
No, it was Lieutenant Uhura.
Oh.
You only
We never heard her first name.
not until
Yes.
2009 in the movie.
In the
What?
movie, yes.
In the
They
movie.
never said her first name.
Wow.
Nyota.
Oh.
NY.
I didn't even think
OTA.
about her.
Yeah.
Well, she was a
Oh.
Klingon, correct?
No,
No.
no,
No.
she's a human.
Yeah.
I thought she was a Klingon as well.
No.
No.
Well,
no,
dag
no.
nabbit.
There were no
maybe I'm thinking of
Klingons
the-
on the original Star Trek.
She's
On
the
the
one that had
bridge.
like the dirty blondish brownish hair, right?
Ah.
No,
Okay.
she was a communications officer, the African American actress.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Right.
Nichelle
Yeah,
Nichols.
where's
Yeah,
my
Nichelle
where's my
Nichols.
brain at right now?
Yeah, and she almost left Star Trek after the first season, but Dr. Martin Luther King talked her into staying.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
he
was at the
told
height.
her.
Yeah, it was at the height of the civil rights movement. He's like, "Sister, we need to see more people of color and more people like us on TV. Please don't leave." And because
cool
of
is
that,
that?
she did not.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was. It's an incredible story.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know any of that.
That is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was
no,
very
that was
cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Well, Rick, thank you so much for being on here with us.
I appreciate it, guys. It was so much fun, and I'm very sorry that you guys didn't get any of our.
Yes.
It's
I thought-
mostly Cindy's
He
fault.
stumped us.
I did.
Yeah, we're blaming Cindy.
Is this
That's
the first
mostly
time this
Cindy.
has happened? You guys.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
No, we
Yeah.
get stumped all the time, dude.
Embarrassingly, no.
It's 2 weeks in a row. I want to say.
It's
Isn't
like
it
when
2
we
weeks
get
in a row?
anything right.
Maybe
It's
3 weeks in a row because I remember Bill had the questions last week for Laura,
Yeah.
and we butchered those too. Remember?
No, didn't
No,
I do?
Cindy
Those are the
got-
ones
Cindy
I got
got-
almost
yeah.
all of them right.
She got
Okay,
some
well,
of them.
we butchered all
Some of
those
them
too.
right.
We butchered all those too.
Almost all.
I got 4 out of 5.
No, wait,
Are
did you
sure?
really?
No, it wasn't that many.
Oh.
Somebody
I think
played
you
back
got
the
one.
tape.
That's
I think
what
you
I
got
went to
one.
sleep telling myself.
I think you got 1 out of the 5, and that was all that
Somebody-
anybody
You
got.
done
Somebody
good
played-
today, kid.
No, she got more than that because she did say she got mortgage and something else.
Right of eminent domain.
There you go. Yeah, that was good.
No, that's a very good one. Yeah.
I don't know. She is the smartest one of the three of us. Well, one of you two are. It's
not
definitely not
true.
me. It's definitely not me. Anyhow, Rick, thank you so much for
Oh,
being
my
here.
pleasure. Thanks
Really
for having me,
appreciate you.
guys.
Okay, give us your address for your store, where you guys are at, and how to find you online,
Sure.
phone number, stuff like that.
The Infinite Mushroom. We're in beautiful downtown Titusville. We're right next to Dr. Akers' office, the eye doctor, and Mutter Realty just built that new building next to us. But it's 342 South Washington, and you can reach us online, infinitemushroom.com. We're 321-567-4893 and Facebook and all that good stuff.
Okay. I want to give a quick shout out to Edna Wilson with Celebrate Remax Aerospace. Thank you, Edna, for sponsoring our program. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in Titusville on the Space Coast, reach out to her, ednawilson.com. Again, a great influence here on the Space Coast. Does a lot of things for the community, a lot of things for schools and teachers, things of that nature. Appreciate you and taking care of us here on the podcast. All right, Rick. Again, thank you for
pleasure.
being here, buddy.
Thank
It
you,
was a
guys.
Pleasure having
Cindy.
you here with us.
Good seeing you.
Bill, Cindy, we'll catch you all in about 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. We need to tie this up before
Yeah.
we lose power.
No joke. All right, y'all. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. You can find the Ears podcast on all platforms by searching Ears. We'll catch y'all next week. Bye-bye.